Welcome everybody to my Ready to Love recap review of episode 9. Come on in and take a seat because we might be here a while today, y'all. I had to take a lot of notes, and so I'm sitting here right now in front of my computer because I can't remember all this stuff in my head. So I'm taking notes, and we're going to have more of a relaxed, I guess, type atmosphere. Since they were on a retreat this weekend, I figured if they could be on a retreat, we might as well switch it up too. So I'm giving you a little different angle of my office here, and I'm gonna sit back, have me a cup of coffee, and we just gonna talk about it. And I have my notes here in front of me because I really didn't want to miss anything. Let me tell you, I really liked this episode because what I liked about this episode was it reminded me of the earlier days of Ready to Love. Y'all remember when they used to go away to retreat and stay there like a whole lot longer? I really liked that format because I felt like, it gave people the chance to really get to know each other. It was almost like you were taken out of the real world and you were put in this little other world where you could kind of get to know each other, faster and sooner. I think when you're trying to work and do all this other kind of stuff, it's really hard to get to know the people. And you see that happen this time. It's happened already with Justice because he couldn't make some stuff because of work. And then you have it with LJ. I like it when they probably should just tell these cast members, hey, we're going to be filming for a week straight or whatever the case may be, 9 days straight. I don't know what it is at this retreat. And then they can maybe film some of the other scenes, in between their work schedules. I don't know, but I would love to see more days at the retreat type of thing. But let's talk about it. So anyway, it opens up with Samson and Sharice riding in the car together. So I thought that was interesting that, they rode together, which kind of tells me that, at this moment that they must be really seriously trying to really bond and take this thing seriously. That's what I'm picking up right in this moment. Now we'll talk about later on how I start to feel, but in this moment, that's kind of really how I'm feeling. And then we kind of get the first chance to see Samson's little goofy side because he does start cracking some jokes and they are a little goofy, a little corny. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm getting a little bit more of Samson's personality, and I'm also starting to see how there would be some women that may not like that because it is a little bit of goofiness, it's a little bit of nerdiness, but I like nerdy guys and I like goofy guys. So, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it, but I do know it is not every woman's cup of tea. And so then they show that Jamala is in the car with a Kaden. So that tells me, I guess they getting along pretty well, which is interesting to me. But Jamala, she starts talking about, honey, this is not no getaway weekend. This is a couples weekend. And she says she already staking her claim on Randall. And they're going to be a couple when they get to this retreat. Well, Jamala ended up being in for a surprise because this weekend I don't think turned out anything like she expected. At least in this episode it didn't. And so, Kaden's laughing and everything. Kaden's feeling good. Kaden's feeling good. Even though she had that little riff with Swayze, I think she's feeling good about her relationship. I don't think she feels like she has any pressure. So I think when she comes in on this show and on any of the scenes, she's relaxed because she feels like I got my man sewed up. So I don't need to be acting up in here. I don't need to be pretending who I'm not. I can let it all hang out because I got my man and my man like me just as I am. That's what I think Kaden is thinking. So then you see that Brandy is in the car with Mike. So, she got the front seat and Trinika's, the third wheel in the back seat with Mike, and they're driving. And Brandy, she talking big stuff. She talking about that Mike don't step up and really let it be known what's going on out here in the world. I could just skedaddle over to Samson's room. Well, we find out that ain't gonna happen either because later on we see how Samson handles Brandy. But she's like, Mike better get right. Mike brings up a little comment talking about, he likes the weekend because he's going to get to see what you look like every day in the morning. You see, Mike is like the uncle on the show. Mike is like the 8th grader hanging out with kindergartners. Of everybody on the show, Mike got the most experience in relationships. So what other people are looking at, Mike peeped that out a long time ago, and he's on to the more nitty gritty, the day in and day out stuff. And what he's talking about is if you get married to a woman or you with a woman, You're going to have to wake up to her every single day. So you want to see what she looks like without the lashes, without the makeup, without the lipstick, without the earrings, without the hair all perfectly done. And he's like, let's get to it. I want to see the real you. So he's excited. He said, let me see what Brandy looks like in her raw. You know what? What does Beyonce say? I woke up like this. That's what he really wants to get to. Mike, he really is testing out the waters, and some people may not like him, but some of the things that he's looking at actually tells me he has more in mind for longevity, and he's just not really here with Brandy to sort of maybe, you know, what do they call it, a hit it or quit it. I think he's really serious about Brandy. I just hope he can deliver them babies I talked about, because I like them together, but I just hope that he is willing to give up the sperm, at least 2 swimmers for Brandy, because Brandy wants some babies, and I think she should get some babies. So then we see that Swayze showed up first in the house. He pulls on by himself, and then he said, you know, he starts talking about how he and Kaden were fighting earlier, but, you know, from the last scene we saw, the last episode, he says, but, you know, he thinks he works it out. He talks about how he has a lot in common with Kaden. He talks about how he has a lot of fun with Kaden. And I think Kaden is a fun girl, and I think that they have a lot of fun together. And he talks about, they get along well. He likes her vibe and all that kind of stuff. But something that Swayze says later on in the episode really gives me insight into Swayze. And I'm going to share that with y'all when we get to that part in the actual whole episode. So then Kayla shows up. Kayla shows up by herself, which is symbolic of how she gonna leave this show, which is by herself. Because I peeped a whole lot more with Kayla, and now I actually can see what Kayla's problems are out here in the dating world. I see a lot more. So when Samson arrives, you know, I always notice the little things, y'all. I noticed that he, you know, brought in Charisse's bags and carried his bag. He definitely is the consummate gentleman, maybe because he's older, he's learned a few tricks, but I like that part of Samson. I like that he is a gentleman, and he makes sure he carried her bags in, took them upstairs for her, and all that good stuff. I really appreciate a gentleman and chivalry, and Samson always delivers in that area. I hope Brandy didn't see it, because she get mad talking about, oh, why are you carrying people's bags? Why you not carrying my bags? Because you know how Brandy is. She's like, don't do nothing for other women, only do it for me. That's how I know I'm special. But I digress. We ain't gonna go back to last week. But anyway, when Charisse is in the car, and she's not in the car no more, but she's opening up and saying what she hopes is gonna happen this weekend. And one of the things she says is she hopes that Samson will open up and share more of his heart and his insights with her. And in this moment, I'm thinking, why would anybody open up to Charisse? Charisse, open up their heart to Charisse. Charisse eats hearts for a living, a breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know what? This is one of the things where when I always hear people say, why don't you open up to me? Why don't you be more vulnerable? You hear that all the time. And it's always mean people saying it. It's always mean people telling other people, open up to me. Well, nobody wants to open up to a mean person. When we see you bite the heads off of other people out here all the time, why in the heck will we then say, okay, let me come put my heart on a platter in front of you? I really wish Charisse would see herself, because if she saw how much of a mean girl she was, a nomen simpatica, she would further understand why nobody would want to open up their heart to her. What, so their heart could get eaten up? People open up their hearts in areas in which they find a safe space. And I'm telling you, Charisse is not a safe space. Not at all. So anyway, we see Jamala come, and she got her big old suitcase. Good Lord, Jamala. Jamala looked like she packed enough stuff, like she was going around the world. In fact, it's not around the world. Like she's going to be gone for 30 days. Jamala's suitcase was bigger than the suitcase I took on this trip I went to Chicago and Dubai with. And I think I was gone for 10 or 11 days. And I had to carry on. Jamala had the biggest suitcase in town. What was she doing? 15, 16 different wardrobe changes? That's too much. I couldn't even take Jamala on a trip, because I'd be like, girl, don't be bringing that big old suitcase on no 2-day getaway. That's too much. Pack your stuff down. Maybe it's all that makeup, because like Jamala liked to wear that makeup. I bet you half that suitcase that she had was full of makeup, eyeliner, eyelashes, concealer, edge control. Jamala packs it on. She might need to take a little bit of that makeup off, just a little bit, Jamala. So then we see that, once they get there, once Jamala and Kadeem get there, they hook up with Swayze, and we find out that Swayze and Kadeem got matching tennis shoes. Okay, I don't know, is it cute or is it high schoolish? I don't know which one it is, but you know what? They seem to be vibing. I'm gonna go with it. I know in all my other videos I be talking about, like, I don't really see this couple long term, and I'm gonna still talk about it later on in this video. But right now, okay, we can do the whole little Six Flags thing where we wear the same t-shirts and the same tennis shoes and dress up like we're in high school, so everybody knows we a couple. He's mine, she's mine. Okay, I got it, Kadeem and Swayze. I'll roll with it. And then we find out that LJ is not even coming, and poor Trinika's like, ooh, dang, that's 50% of my connections. I got 2 connections, LJ and Randall, and now LJ is not showing up for this conference. LJ didn't show up because he did not want to face the music from last weekend. He probably over there cuddled up on his own weekend getaway with that girl from last week. That girl from last week probably rolled up on him afterwards, said, you better not go to no weekend getaway. You better quit this show. I know LJ was trying to probably self-eliminate or get eliminated because LJ didn't want to show up. I don't believe it about this conference. He might have had a conference. He might have had something to do, but I don't believe he couldn't have got out of it. LJ did not want to face the music from last weekend, because let me tell you, last weekend and Meet the Friends, that was a disaster. So anyway, when Randall finally does arrive to the group, I'm looking at my notes, y'all. When Randall finally does arrive to the group, can y'all believe it that Randall is a freshly groomed? He has trimmed his beard. He has groomed his beard. It looks like he, I don't know, put some moisturizer in his hair, combed his hair. And the man got on some pants and a shirt, and they're matching. Who is Randall supposed to be meeting? The Queen of England, the President of the United States? Because this is the best Randall has ever dressed up. But you know what? I'm here for it. And it was the way he should have been showing up before, because like I told you, Randall doesn't put forth any effort in a relationship. And we about to see more of it on this getaway. And for the first time, I think Jamala is about to see it, because she's starting to realize that Randall, he don't do anything. He wants you to do all the work. And the more work you do, the more he likes you. The less work you do, the less he likes you. The less you complain, the more he likes you. And the more you complain, the less he likes you. So the more you complain, the less he likes you. The less you complain, the more he likes you. And you starting to see a pattern with Randall. Like I told you, Randall is lazy. When you're that lazy and you don't even want to get dressed for people, that tells me you lazy in other areas too. I'm just telling y'all, it's what I picked up on Randall from the very beginning. And you starting to see more and more of it, especially on this little getaway weekend. But anyway, what came next? Anyway, Randall started talking about how he all scared because, he's in a room, he's in a house with the 3 people, and he's getting really nervous. And because that's why he can't be telling women 3 and 4 different things. I told you, Randall is a people pleaser in a way, and not a people pleaser, but he's the type of person, he don't like to rattle women. He don't like to upset women. It's part of the reason why he might be successful as a personal trainer, because everybody feels a certain kind of way. But that's when he's got you isolated, because when he's isolated, you are isolated. He can tell you things and make you feel a certain kind of way. But then when you in a group session, you start to realize maybe I'm not that special at all. So now Randall's all scared because he's feeling like he's gonna get a lot of pressure from the different women. He don't know how to handle it. I really don't know what the big hype is about Randall. I have no idea why 3 women are hanging on to the neck of Randall, because I'm telling you right now, he's a nice guy, but Randall is very immature in relationships. He don't even know women. Even later on in the episode, Mike got to school him on women. Mike's like, start telling him some stuff. You just now figuring that out. I figured that out on day 1. I told you, Mike is the uncle. Mike has history of relationships. Mike is the uncle with this group. And some of these people need to start listening to Mike, because he's got experience. And Randall doesn't have that much experience, and it's showing. So anyway, it starts to, you start to see when they're sitting down and Tommy is giving them the spiel about how the weekend's gonna go, and Kayla is hanging all over Randall, all over her. Kayla says, I'm gonna come here and make a statement because I don't get to hang out with Randall that much, because as we know, Randall really been hanging out with Jamala and Jamala only. So Kayla came in here talking about this is my opportunity to shine, and I'm gonna hang all over him. I'm gonna put my hand on his arm. I'm gonna be rubbing the back of his head. I'm gonna be darn near sitting in his lap, and Jamala's sitting over in the corner pouting and mad with the mean face on, because she's like, what the heck, this ain't the kind of weekend I thought I was gonna be having a couples weekend. Girl, this turning into a threesome, not no couples weekend. But anyway, then they show this other scene where Mike is talking to Kadeem, and Mike likes to poke at people. He really does. He over here poking at Kadeem, poking the bear, because we all know that Kadeem is a bear. So anytime you say something to her that might be a little snappy, you're gonna wake the sleeping bear who's hibernating. But she ain't hibernating, because Kadeem a bear that don't never hibernate. She always awake. 365 days of the year, this bear is always awake. But anyway, Mike talking about you only got one connection. It's the same thing he did to Kayla before. He was like, oh, you only got one connection. Why you only got one connection? I'm telling you, Mike is the uncle, and Mike plays mind games with all these women, because what Mike realizes is I am older than these women. And my mind knows how to get at these women and poke at these women, because they're younger than me and I'm more adept at it. This is what sometimes when they tell a younger woman, be careful of older men, because them older men know how to be effing with your mind, because we can see later on Mike has messed with Kayla's mind, and her mind is all twisted up. But anyway, Kadeem, she ain't ruffled. Like I said, she a full-grown bear. She know how to handle a mic and everything. But she said, don't be trying to come for me. Don't come for me unless I send for you. And she flips that right around, and she starts talking to herself, because who's sitting there is herself, Brandy, and also Kayla and Mike. And Kadeem flips it around right away on Mike and says, well, let's talk about you. Here you are running around with Kayla, and you know what, the way I see it is Brandy's the wife, and Kayla is almost like the hot girl at the office. Basically the hot girl at the office you just gonna fool around with. And you know what, Kadeem, she is the bear, and stuff come out of her mouth that's not so nice. But guess what, she was telling the truth, because I told y'all maybe 2 episodes ago that how the heck did Brandy become the side chick? I didn't know how she became the side chick, but as the episodes have gone along, I'm telling you, she absolutely has become the side chick. And in fact, I'm actually convinced that something, I can't say I'm convinced, but I'm thinking it, that something has gone on with Kayla and Mike. And when I say something has gone on, I'm talking about something more than holding hands. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a kiss. I don't know if it's some heavy petting or something, because I remember that pool date that they had. And I remember when Kayla whispered in Mike's ear, but they caught it on the mic. And she says, I'm going to come by. I'm going to swing by after all this is over. And let me tell you something. When I see Kayla and I see how competitive she is, and how she's willing to get down the mud and talk nasty about people, women who haven't said anything about her, she's competitive. And I wouldn't put it past her to be swinging by Mike's house, giving him a little something extra to think about, if you know what I mean. Because right now, the way that Kayla is all twisted up over Mike, and Mike ain't even checking for her in that way, because she absolutely is the side chick. I'm saying, how did she get here? He definitely had to help her along, and he's helping her along more with some words, and he is playing her like a fiddle. Because when we finally see all them in the same room at once, and Kadeem calls Mike on it and tells him, you playing with this girl, he got this smirk on his face like he knows he's playing her. And you know who the real fool is? The real fool is Kayla. Now Kayla gets all mad and hot, and she go off all screen talking about, or why am I the hot girl at work? Because I'm hot. And then she talks about, well, I guess if Brandy is the wife, I guess she's wife because she's all washed up and out of shape and fat. Well, I guess you done come down my street of married women, Kayla. So if you on my street of married women, I guess I might want to say a few things about the old married women are washed up with their stomachs hanging out and fat. First of all, let me say this. You 30 years old, and to be honest with you, Kayla, you not that far from having too much weight on you too at 30 years old, and you haven't had one baby, and nor have you gone through hormonal, not hormonal, what we call it, not menopause either, but not only have you not gone through your metabolism dropping. Call me when you get around 40, when that metabolism drops, because you might want to lose a little weight now, a little more weight actually, so you have a little bit more buffer, because I'm telling you, you're going to pick up some weight, and you already, to me, you already at the edge, Kayla. You a cute girl. You a cute girl. But I would be really careful about throwing stones. I really would. I wouldn't throw no stones this early in the game at 30 years old. And I don't even know why she threw them stones at Brandy, because first of all, Brandy, I had never heard Brandy say anything really, really bad about Kayla. So I didn't think that she deserved that. Because so what this told me is Kayla, she ain't as self-confident as she is, as she says she is. I think she got a lot of insecurities, and she also shows me how immature she is. At this point in time, Kayla is really starting to sound like a bona fide side chick. I'm going to tell you, before I was like, how did she get put there? But when I hear her speaking in this moment, I said, wow, she is really starting to sound like Coleslaw from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Because let me tell you about some of the things Kayla starts saying that I was like, oh, this is a side chick talk, y'all. So first of all, when she starts talking about, oh, well, I must be the hot girl. I must be the girl on the side because I'm hot and the wives are fat and out of shape. This is side chick talk. Because what side chicks really get upset about, especially if the side chick is like maybe in shape and the wife isn't, what side chicks get mad about is when the husband is fooling around with the side chick can't figure out why, when you get all this, why wouldn't you leave her? See, this is the real side chick's dilemma, because what they think is that if the man weren't really with the wife, they would really want her. See, and this was what happened to Coleslaw on Love and Marriage Huntsville. She always thought that the only reason Martell was still with Melody was because Melody was somehow trapping him, and he had to stay with her. But if he really had the option, he would be with her. And once he had the option, she realized he really didn't want to be with her. Well, this is what Kayla sounds like. Kayla sounds like she's thinking that if Mike were free of his own free will, as if Brandy's got him in handcuffs, he would want to be with her. That's the delusion of side chicks. And then what they can't wrap their head around is what's so special about the wife and what's not so special about me. Why can't I be a wife? Why am I always the side chick? And how does this woman over here, who's, as she says, fat and out of shape, how does she get to be a wife? And there you go. That's the mentality of a side chick. They're always comparing themselves to the wife, and ends up what happened is they end up putting themselves in competition with the wife, because what they're trying to do is they're really trying to validate themselves by saying, if I can get him to choose me over the wife, that means I'm better than the wife, because when I look at the wife, she seems like she's better than me because the man has chosen to be with her. I'm telling you, Kayla sounds just like a side chick one-on-one. So anyway, and then she starts talking about when they start asking Mike, well, what do you have in common with Kayla? And Mike then answers the question and says, well, we haven't really been able to explore that yet. Well, if you don't know what you have in common with Kayla, Mike, then there's no connection. How can there be a connection when you ain't even got nothing to connect to? A connection is when you have something in common. And if you don't know what you have in common, then what's the connection? You know what the connection is, y'all? A lust. You know what? This is another side chick moment, because this is the moment when the wife looks up and sees that, like, say maybe some woman was texting her man, and she says, "Oh, who's this woman texting you?" And the man looks at the text, you know, and the side chick is texting the man a whole bunch of salacious stuff. And the wife says, "Oh, who's this woman texting you?" And the husband looks at the text and goes, "I don't know that woman. I don't know nothing about that woman." That is when the man says, basically, "I don't know nothing about her. I don't have nothing in common with her. I don't even know her." And that's what Mike did right in front of Brandy, the wife, with the side chick sitting there. That when Kadian asked Mike, "What do you have in common with Kayla?" Mike said, "I don't know this woman. I don't have nothing in common with her." Girl, Kayla is a chick, a bona fide side chick. This is sad to watch. But anyway, so then Kayla does another side chick moment, and she starts making up excuses for Mike. And Kayla starts trying to make us believe that she says, "Well, if we weren't here and we were just one-on-one somewhere else, Mike would be able to really express himself." Girl, that is side chick 101. When a man tells you something behind closed doors, but he doesn't say it in public, that's how you know you the side chick. I mean, what's the saying? What's done in the dark will come to light. You're the dark, Kayla. You're the what's done in the dark, and now we're in the light, and we're seeing the light. Brandy's the light. He acknowledges her, he claims her in the light, and he tells you stuff behind closed doors in the dark. I mean, Kayla needs an auntie, y'all. I know we all be out here calling ourselves aunties and cousins and uncles, but where is Kayla's auntie in real life? Because somebody need to pull her aside and tell her, "Girl, you are the side chick, and if this is the way you moving around out here, we need to have a discussion." Kayla, call me. If you want a one-on-one, I need to talk to you, because I'm starting to realize that you don't know some real stuff about dating, because you should figure it out by now. Are you the side chick? This is crazy. But anyway, Kadian card calling out Mike, telling him, "Hey, you know what? You really need to stop playing with that girl." Kadian is laughing. Brandy is laughing. Everybody's laughing at Kadian. And I'm not Kadian, laughing at Kayla, and Kayla gets up and switches herself and goes out the room talking about she not gonna deal with no more of a buffoonery, as if she's all above these people. Side chick 101 again. You storming out the room like you are on higher ground. And the truth of the matter is, are you the side chick? Kadian and Brandy are the wives, and they're sitting here laughing at the side chick, and the side chick is running out the room, and she's calling the women the buffoons. Y'all, this is side chick 101, where the side chicks attack the wives. I can't believe this is going on. And you know what? Mike sat there and watched, and when she ran out that room and sashayed, did Mike chase her? Absolutely not. That's how you know she a side chick. Did Mike get up and leave Brandy's side to go run after Brandy and console her with her feelings? Absolutely not. Like I said, she came to this retreat alone. She gonna leave this retreat alone. It was sad to watch, y'all. It really was sad to watch. But anyway, so what else was going on? But yeah, it was sad to watch, y'all. It was really sad to watch. And then when Kayla was talking about her connection with Mike only feels super authentic when it's just the two of them. Y'all, this is so hilarious. That's not authenticity. That is the fakery. When he can be one person with you, just you watching, but then when he's in front of everyone else, Brandy, the wife, and everyone else, he's not saying anything he said to you behind closed door. You think the closed door moment was the authentic moment? Girl, poor Kayla. Y'all, I feel sorry for her. I'm really starting to feel, if she weren't so nasty to people, because she's starting to get really nasty, because she starts to do it to Jamala too, I actually would feel sorry for Kayla. But right now I don't feel sorry for her, because she's actually really nasty. But you know what? It's sad to watch. Mike has really, if they have not done anything behind closed doors, besides like heavy petting or whatever else, he may not have really effed her for real, like real intercourse, but he effed her up here. Let me tell you, he was effing this all day, every day. Brandy is too young for Mike. Mike got her mind all twisted up. He owns a Brandy up here. And then we see this other little cutaway scene where it's Randall and he on the balcony with Jamala, and you know, Randall's all freaking out. Oh, I'm so stressed out. All these three women here. Oh, he acts like he's in high school. You know, I don't really see the thing with Randall. You know, I'm not, as a person, listen, when I talk about people on these dating shows, I don't want to talk about people as a person. I think, you know, people are good people besides, I'm telling you, besides, what's her name? Cherie. She ain't a good person. She is no simpatica. But besides that, I'm talking about them sort of in a dating atmosphere. And I'm telling you, a Randall in a dating atmosphere, he is not ready to love. He is not ready to love at all. So he's all flustered over here with these three women. And he's talking about how stressful he is. And Jamala's trying to calm him down, talking about, well, this can be an intimate moment. I know it can, Jamala. He's trying to tell you that this is going to be a threesome between you, him, and Kayla. And we later find out it might be a foursome because this man can't make up his mind because he's too busy trying to please everybody and not upset no woman. And he's trying to figure out, how am I going to keep three women happy at the same time in the same house, because I like to keep everybody happy all the time. And normally I can separate you guys, but now that you all are in the same place at the same time, how am I going to do it all at one time? I told y'all I wouldn't even been messing around with Randall. Soon as I found he was personal trainer, I would have been like, oh, walking to another man, because I'm telling you, this is the common with a lot of personal trainers. Y'all remember maybe a couple seasons ago, I don't know, Kilfani, he was a personal trainer too. Same thing. They got the same personalities. If y'all don't believe me, go on out in the world and date maybe 2, 3, 4 personal trainers, and you're going to start to see a lot about them, a lot of similarities. I don't want to stereotype the whole industry, but you're going to start to see a lot of it going on. And they have this other scene with Samson and Brandy, and they laying down in the bed, and Brandy's like, let me go in here and make sure I shore up my second connection with Samson, my backup connection, just in case the mic option falls through. Brandy knows she ain't really interested in Samson, but she going over there and lay down next to him, you know, her breast halfway coming out. Brandy tightening up just a little bit. Samson took a little sneak peek. You know he is. Well, who wouldn't take a sneak peek? I'm telling you, I think Brandy is a very pretty girl. I love her cheekbones. I love her facial structures. I think she's a pretty girl. Even when we see her without makeup, I think she's a pretty girl, and or pretty woman. Let me stop calling her girl. Some people don't like to be called girls. I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean like you're my girlfriend. That's what I mean it. But I think she's a pretty woman. And anyway, they're laying next to each other. And then he started talking about, what's that scar on your face? Calling her Scarface. Ugh. Now, I'm always talking about Samson is like really chivalrous and nice, but I didn't like that comment. I'd be like, don't be calling me no Scarface, because a scar I have on my face from childhood. I particularly didn't like the comment, but Brandy, you know, she was cool with it. It rolled off her back. She laughed, but she did check him and say, don't be calling me that. I'm with you, Brandy. Don't be calling me no Scarface. You know, Samson's talking about he's still, you know, more number one with Sharice because they share family values and all this other kind of stuff. And he starts telling Brandy, I think Brandy starts talking about, you know, what happens with us after this. Are we going to get to know each other more? We want to continue, because everybody kind of got the same thing going on with Samson, you know, that he doesn't open up. And then Samson starts giving that line, talking about, you need to be patient. You need to be patient. You need to be patient. I'm telling you, Samson is a wall man. If any of y'all watch my Married at First Sight reviews, I talk about wall people who have big old walls in front of them. They never really want you to get to know their heart, because behind that wall, they are protecting themselves because they scared. I am convinced that Samson is scared. And so this whole thing about how you got to be patient to get to know the real him, just like his ex-girlfriend Annabella said, you better be patient, patient, patient. People run out of patience with Samson, because whatever that wall is, and as thick as it is, there's something that went on in Samson's previous earlier life that made him put up this wall. And let me tell you, it is thick. It's thicker than the walls at Sing Sing prison. Prisoners can't get out that place. The wall that Samson has up, covering and protecting his heart and his feelings, is thick. And every woman is pointing out, I don't know if Samson has had therapy, but he might need some therapy, because if he's still 48 years old and the wall is as thick and high as it is now, he obviously hasn't been able to put that wall down by himself. He's going to need some help. He needs to listen to what the feedback is of these women on this show, and he needs to go and get some help with that. Otherwise, he's going to be blocking off love for the rest of his life, and he might die alone and lonely. But let me tell you, I have been not vindicated, but I have been proven correct, because when Samson is laying down next to Brandy, he starts telling Brandy, oh, you spunky girl. First of all, That's a euphemism for you got some ghetto-ness to you. I told y'all last videos that Brandy got this little sort of ghetto side to her, and ain't nothing wrong with it. It's who she is. She's a wonderful person. She's a nice person, but that part of her doesn't really make her pair well with Samson, and it doesn't make her pair well with a lot of men. And I think she's okay with it because she starts talking about how she wants to be herself. But when he was calling her spunky and he was talking about, yeah, I saw you over there twerking on your man, what he was really saying was, you got some ghetto-ness and some ratchetness to you that I don't like. That's what he was really saying. But he put this nice little word on it called spunkiness. But here's the thing with men. I know they don't want to just tell women are right out there ghetto, they're ratchet. But what a woman could do is they could leave this little part, just like Precious did seasons before, and they really look at that word and they think, well, what's wrong with spunkiness? I want to be spunky. And really what they were saying was you're ghetto. And the same thing that happened when they told Precious seasons ago that she looks like she doesn't want to leave the club. And she was like, I don't even go to the club. That ain't even what they was talking about with Precious. What they were saying with Precious, they don't like her mouth and all the other kind of stuff, the sex talk she used to talk about. Well, here we go. We sit with a conversation, and Samson doesn't really want to tell Brandy she's ghetto or she's ratchet, that part of her. So he just calls her spunky. But Brandy said it right. Brandy said, I don't care what you call me. I don't want to tone it down. I want to be who I am. And I'll just go off and I'll get me a man who, you know, basically likes my spunkiness. And that's going to be Mike. That's why I said they really are the better fit, because I think he does appreciate that side of her, because I think Mike is more of an around the way guy and she's a around the way girl. And I think they pair up a lot better. And like I said, as long as he gives her those babies, I think they would make a fabulous couple. And in the end, they sat there in silence and some awkward silence, and you could tell they didn't have no chemistry whatsoever. And I think Brandy was trying to pull some more out of him, and Samson was like, sometimes it's better not to say anything at all. It's like basically like, what would your mama tell you? If you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. He didn't really want to reject Brandy, but basically he fired Brandy. It's not like Brandy was all into him anyway, so she didn't really care. But he closed the door all the way and basically said, this ain't going nowhere, girl. Well, you and I, we on two different levels. Even Brandy said, we on two different levels, two different planes, two different generations, two different atmosphere, two different everything. These two should have never even been really considering each other, to be honest with you. The next thing we know, we see the next thing you know, we see Swayze in the kitchen with Kadeem, and Kadeem is cooking in the kitchen. She being a happy homemaker because they're the married couple at the retreat. So they like, you know, we might as well clean and cook for our guests. This reminded me of last year with Joy and Clifton when they act like they was the host of the retreat because they was the married couple. Now we see Swayze and Kadeem up here in here cooking and cleaning for the retreat. And, you know, he's hugging all over her and kissing all over her. They look good together, y'all. They chemistry is off the chain. And you know what? I do see Kadeem is really so much nicer when she's around Swayze. And last week when Swayze was with the friend and the friend was calling Kadeem out and saying, you know, your friend Ching is a mess. And she was really aggressive. And I'm just wondering, are you like Ching? Because he was basically saying two birds who play together, flock together, are the same birds in the feather, whatever the saying is. And Kadeem was like, that's not true. But I told y'all, men and the men's friends do look at that. They judge you by the company you keep. So I always tell women, be careful of the women you hang around if you're out here trying to, you know, get into a relationship, because the men sometimes are not just judging you, they also judging your friends. And when they see things in your friends, they think, oh, well, are you like that friend? So sometimes your friends aren't really helping you. They actually are harming you. But anyway, one thing I noticed about Kadeem, and this is the same thing with Sharice, they clean it up when they get around they men. When Kadeem is around Swayze, she keeps it real light. She keeps it somewhat agreeable. She gets a little fun up in there, but she don't give Swayze that lip like she gives everybody else. Now, my thing is, I don't know how you can be those two people all the time. I think you can be those two people when you only see someone every other day, every 4 days. Because like I said, Swayze is a fireman paramedic. So we know how they work. They work like what, 4 or 5 days on, 10 days off, or 4 or 5 days, and then 3 days off. Who knows? But we all know how they schedules are. So Kadeem doesn't have to be this agreeable person every day, 24 hours a day. I want to see Kadeem and Swayze be together every day, 24 hours a day, and not on no vacation in Puerto Vallarta, real life. And I want to see if Kadeem can keep it together like she keeps it together when she's in this kitchen cooking and all this. I don't think she can. Just like Charisse, I don't think these two women can hold it together for any real long period of time with these men. I think they can hold it together for that little short bit of time that they're together. But after that, I think all that attitude and everything comes out. And I think that's when they're going to run into problems. I think Kadeem's going to run into problems with Swayze. And I think Charisse, first of all, I don't even think Charisse and what's his name, Samson, gonna make it past this Even Ready to Love, but we'll get to that too. But I don't think that Kadeem is Swayze long term, because I think part of what Kadeem is doing is she's keeping that part of Kadeem under wraps, and you can't do that forever. She can't do that forever. Absolutely not. She can't even hold it together in the house when she's in another room. Soon as she go into another room talking to somebody else, blah, it comes all out. It vomits. But the minute she's with a Swayze, she be holding it together, y'all, holding it together. Then we see this other scene with Randall and Trinika, and they finally have a little sit down and they start talking about, Trinika said, Randall says we haven't really had any time to talk one-on-one. He's pretty much been wrapped up with Jamala the whole time, and then a little bit with Kayla. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if you haven't had any one-on-one time, how is there a connection? That's why I know all this stuff is fake. So he started talking about this is the first time he really even talked to Trinika. Well, if it's the first time you really sat down and talked to Trinika, it's not a connection. This part right here is fake. But anyway, he's sitting down and he's talking to Trinika, and he's starting to realize, oh, there's some things about Trinika that I like. And the more I talk to her, the more that comes out. And they getting all cozy and touchy-feely on the couch. And Trinika's like, I can concentrate on Randall because LJ's not here. I can pour everything into Randall right now. And you notice Trinika got two different styles. She leads with the sex with LJ, and then with Randall, she tries to lead with more of the softer side of her. Now, here's the thing about Trinika. The side that she showed with Randall right here was the side of Trinika that I actually liked in the very beginning. I thought this was Trinika. So I really don't know who Trinika is. Is she, she probably say, oh, she a combination. But this one girl who she is with LJ and throwing herself all over LJ with her body, even when she was on even when she was on the live with IJ and she would look at my body. This is the Trinika she leads with when she talks to LJ or when she was talking to Justin. But when she's over here with Randall, she leads with this more softer, more conservative side, because what she's realized about Randall is more softer and conservative. He more of a sensitive guy. When we already know that LJ has made it pretty clear he's into the sex. And he made it pretty clear when he brought his sex partner last week. That's what he's into. And so that's what Trinika gives him. She gives Randall the sexy, the sexy vibes, because that's what LJ likes. And now she's trying to give Randall the more intellectual side. Who is Trinika? Who is the real Trinika? And she starts telling Randall, yeah, I realize if I don't show you the real me, how can I get you to like the real me? That's what I'm saying, Trinika. Who is the real you? Is this the real you? Because this is the girl I thought in the very beginning was the real you. And that's why I really like Trinika. But then this other girl started showing up. Her name wasn't Trinika. I don't know what we're going to call her. Tricknika. Maybe we should call her Tricknika. She started showing up, and I didn't like that Trinika at all. But Randall's falling for it. He is sinking into that couch. He is sinking into them breastises that Trinika has. And you know what? You start to realize with Randall, Randall goes whichever way the wind blows, whichever way is happy, because Jamala is starting to make demands of Randall, and he ain't feeling that, because like I told you, he's lazy. He like a kid in a room, and you come in his room and talking about, oh, you need to clean up this room. And the kid look at you and roll his eyes, talking about, I don't want to talk to you because you starting to ask me to do something, and I don't get to just lay up in this room in my shorts and tube tops with my hair not combed and my teeth not brushed and not do nothing, and I don't want to deal with you. That's why he's starting to get turned off by Jamala, because she's starting to make some demands and requirements of him, and now he over here skedaddling or whatever you call it over here to Trinika, and she's all mother henning him and saying, lay in my lap, lean on me, let me rub your head, everything gonna be okay, and she over here caressing him. I don't even know why these women like Randall. I hope these women see this video and realize Randall goes where the honey is. That's it. He don't want to put in any effort, any work. The minute you start correcting him, he gonna be out. That's why he didn't get along with that girlfriend he brought to last week, which was Brittany. Because Brittany, I told you, she was assertive. I could already tell how Brittany and Randall were together. Brittany from last week, she was checking Randall, and Randall didn't like it. She was holding Randall accountable, telling Randall that he needs to step it up and do something, and he didn't like it. He didn't like the pressure, because we see now that anytime a woman puts any bit of pressure on Randall or requires something from Randall, he don't like it. He gets upset, and then he throws it back on them as if, how dare you have some expectations of me? How dare you try to control me? Randall, bye Randall. Then they move on to this little hot scene where you got in the hot sun, you got Samson and Sharice, and at first you had Candle and Candle. Oh, that would have been their name. If they was really a couple, they would be called Candle. Kayla and Randall would be called Candle. Hey, I just came with that, y'all. But anyway, you have Kayla and Randall in the hot tub, and she rubbing all on his neck and everything. And then Jamala said, let me put on my thong. Let me come out here and show these cakes. Because if Randall ain't looking at me now, one thing he ain't gonna miss are these cakes. And so Jamala come on sashaying out. And soon as Kayla sees Jamala, once again, there go the side chick. She can't contain her face. It goes all sour. She rolls her eyes. And then she started leaning all into Randall, everything. Oh, girl, Kayla, your slip is showing. Your side chick, a slip is showing. So Kayla's like, Randall, you want to take this on inside? Let's go inside. She's like, she want to get Randall all to herself. She said, I need to get him away from Jamala, who at this time, Jamala ain't no wife, but she more like probably like the fiance. She like the fiance, you know, he kind of asked her to get married, but he ain't really gone down to the courthouse and really done the I do. So at this point, Kayla's like, well, you ain't married, so he's still a free man, so I could still, you know, try to put some moves on him. So Kayla says, come on, let's go back up to the room. You know what? Side chick one-on-one. Let's take him to the bedroom. Girl, Kayla, where is her auntie, her real auntie? I'm telling you. So she going back up to Randall's room. And she's talking about take it off, take out your clothes, go ahead, go on and change. And she flopping on the bed and everything. She trying like, I'm gonna go ahead and try and tempt this man because I need to do what I did to Mike. And because I already see now that Mike really is with Brandy. I really am the side chick over there with Brandy. So I need to put all my all into Randall, because Randall is not married yet to Jamala. He just engaged. So when Jamala comes in the house, she says she not jealous type, but she's territorial. Girl, it looked the same. It looks exactly the same. Call it what you want to call it. Territorial, jealous, whatever else. You can put whatever name you want onto it. But what you about to do looks like jealousy. And yeah, it looks territorial and jealousy. It looked like both. So I ain't gonna argue with you over what you call it, but it's a bad look. I'm gonna tell you that. Whatever you want to call it, it is a bad look. No way I would have went up in that room chasing after Randall if he went up there and locked himself in a room with Kayla. I wouldn't have done it one bit. His butt can stay up in there. That's where you want to be. Stay there. So Jamala come huffing and puffing up the steps. She running the room. She talking about, give me my stuff. Give me my stuff. Let me get my hat. Let me get my hat. And she get her hat and she storm out to try to make a scene, because what she was really hoping for was she was hoping that she go up there and make a scene and bust it all wide open. And then she would storm out the room. And then after that, then Randall would come and chase after her and try to smooth it over. But guess what? Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Just like Mike didn't chase after Kayla, or Randall ain't chasing after Jamala. I told y'all, Randall ain't doing no work. In fact, Randall ended up turning it around on her and telling her she didn't have any right to feel the way she did, nor do what she did. And like I said, I wouldn't have done what she did, but her feelings, the way she was feeling, was absolutely justified. I completely understood the way she was feeling, because I probably would have felt that same kind of way, but I wouldn't have dealt with my feelings the way she dealt with her feelings. But anyway, after it all happened, here you go, side chick Kayla. Another side chick moment. What's wrong with her, or why she mad? That's like the side chick calling the husband or the fiance on the phone And the girlfriend, the wife, is in the room and said, well, who are you talking to? And then the side chick is talking about why she mad, why she mad. It reminds me of the same scene that if you guys watch Love and Marriage Huntsville, when Melody talks about the scene where they were at home and the phone keeps ringing for Martell, and finally she answers the phone. Melody answers the phone, and Cold Slide is on the phone, and Cold Slide says, let me speak to Martell. And Cold Slide has the audacity to talk bad about the wife, and she the side chick. This is Kayla. So what Kayla didn't even realize, even Kayla in the moment, she says, well, why was her stuff up here even anyway? Boom. There you go, Kayla. That is what you need to start asking yourself, is how did it come that Jamala's suitcase or a lot of her stuff was in Randall's room? That's what you need to ask yourself. That's like going to the side chick going to the man's house and talking about why is the girlfriend's stuff in the bathroom? Girl, you the side chick. When you walk saw the room and you saw Jamala's stuff in his room, you should have known right then and there, you was the side chick. But she turned around to be like, something is wrong with Jamala. Poor Kayla. I'm telling you, go get her aunties, go get her grandmas, her mamas, her aunties. I don't know, because whoever's hanging around her, they have not taught her enough. They have not taught her enough at all. And she started talking about, well, if Randall's not going to check her, who going to check me, boo? If he ain't going to check Jamala, his number one, he ain't going to check Jamala. You the one that really needs to be checked. And here you are thinking, just like Cold Slide told Martell, you need to check Melody. What is she talking about? I'm telling you, Kayla got the mindset of a side chick. She talks like a side chick, y'all. And when Randall does check Jamala, he definitely ain't going to check Jamala in front of you. He absolutely would not do that. So whatever conversation he's going to have with Jamala, which she ends up having it later on, he definitely not going to do it in front of you. Why does Kayla think she got all this positional power with Randall? First of all, none of these women got no power with Randall. But of all the women, Kayla ain't got no positional power with Randall. Oh my God, it was hard to watch, y'all. It was hard to watch a person's mind so twisted up. It's almost like you looking at something and they see something completely different than what you see. And you're saying, I know I ain't going crazy. I'm telling you right now, I know I ain't going crazy with Kayla. I know that for sure. So then they cut to this scene, and they cut to this scene with Samson and Sharice, and they out back, you know, and he starts looking at her feet, talking, oh, your feet are pretty. Your feet are pretty. And obviously he one of the women, like, I want a woman with pretty feet and all that kind of stuff. I can see so many reasons why Samson is single, because the stuff he be looking at really is irrelevant in a long-term marriage. I'm not saying you need to get a woman with ugly feet, but the stuff that he, picks on to me sometimes is like, you looking at the wrong things. But I already know now why he looks at those things, because like he says later on, he and Swayze, they scared of love. They both said it. They scared of love. But anyway, they start showing this scene, and Samson started talking about, he's corny. He said not only is he corny, he started talking about corn, how he can cook corn. And let me tell you, Sharice is, she ain't even smiling. She's like, oof, I don't like this man. I don't like this man. Sharice is not feeling Samson at all. She playing this game because if the real Sharice was there, the real nasty Sharice would have come out. Just like when they were sitting in that kitchen, Sharice told him, don't be touching that watermelon like that. People got to eat that. Men, you better look at these little signs like that, because when Sharice snapped on Samson like that and told him, don't be touching that watermelon like that, people got to eat that. I said, there go the real Sharice. And no one is saying that what she wasn't saying wasn't true, but she doesn't have any gentleness to her with her words. She was like chastising him like he was a 4-year-old boy, and you want to tell him, go sit down, don't be messing with the food. But he started talking about he got chemistry with Sharice. This ain't chemistry. This is what biology, man and woman. But this is not a chemistry. What you take back in school, don't you take biology first and then chemistry? This is biology. This is not chemistry, Samson. This is just a man and a woman getting together. And yeah, you might have a few things here and there, but chemistry is just when it lights up the screen. Y'all do not have any chemistry. Y'all might have biology, but you ain't got chemistry. But he starts saying, yeah, let me rub your feet. I'll rub your other fold. Diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI. I know what DEI is, Samson. I understand. I get where you're going. A lot of women may not get it because they may not know no diversity, equity, inclusion, DEI work. That's the corporate world. But he corny. He is corny. But you know what? The corniness and nerdiness that's for some women. It's not for all women. And I know right now it's not for Sharice, because Sharice likes to date ex-football players, and they are definitely not nerdy and corny. They are jarheads. That's what Sharice likes. That's why she was over there liking Devin. She likes jarheads. She definitely ain't gonna like no Samson over here talking about a DEI. Absolutely not. So now, you know, after that little scene with Jamala and Kayla, Jamala decides she gonna come back up to the room and have her little one-on-one with Randall, talking about, are you gonna help me cook? Girl, you know the answer to that. The answer is a no. Randall ain't getting up off that bed. He over there on the phone, laying on the bed, talking to somebody else that ain't even at the retreat. Another reason why I would drop Randall. You mean to tell me we came all the way to this retreat and here you are laid across the bed, talking to somebody else on the phone? You need to be using all this time to concentrate on me. And then when I come and ask you, are you gonna help me cook? You look at me and tell me, heck no, I ain't helping you cook nothing. Now, you saw everybody else was in that kitchen helping. You saw Swayze helping Kadeem. You saw Samson helping cutting up some watermelon with his hands all over the watermelon. And you got Randall talking about, I ain't helping you do nothing. I'm talking on the phone. And why you in my room? Y'all need to leave Randall alone. I'm telling you, or run away from Randall. He ain't the one. But he called her out on her mess, talking about, don't be insulting my intelligence, talking about she was just coming up here to get a hat. Like that's all there was to it. That is the truth, Jamala. We all know that going up there and getting that hat, where was you about to go? You just said you was about to cook. You about to cook with a big old sun hat on? Is that why you had stormed in the room to get your hat? Because you was about to cook in the sun hat? Girl, you stormed in that room. Don't be trying to act like it was nothing. Randall called it out correctly. You was trying to make a statement. You were trying to do a little move. So what you wanted to do is you wanted to go up there, break it up, see what was going on. You wanted Randall to see that you was upset, and then you wanted Randall to chase you and smooth everything over. But none of it played out the way you wanted. Just this whole weekend ain't playing out. You thought it was going to be a couples retreat. It ain't a couples retreat. It's a threesome, and now we figure out it's a foursome. And if we and who, I don't even know who was on that phone with Randall. To be honest with you, it could be a fivesome. What's it called when you got 5 people? That's an orgy. That's what this is. It's gone from a couples retreat to a threesome to a foursome to an orgy. But one thing Jamala said was, listen, I don't know who you think I am, Randall, that you think I can sit up there and watch this girl be all over you, falling all over you, touching your scrotum. I don't know. I guess they took that part out. But she says, I don't know what you expect me to do, to sit up here and smile the whole weekend. Exactly, Jamala. Jamala's feelings were exactly correct. The hurt, everything that she was feeling was exactly correct. But here's where I'm going to correct Jamala just a little bit as an auntie and any woman out here. Women, we need to start leading with our correct emotion. And what Jamala was really feeling in that moment, she was hurt. Jamala was feeling hurt. And instead of leading with being hurt and sad, okay, and saying, I'm really hurt by this, and maybe dropping a tear or two, right? What she led with was anger. And then what she did was she attacked Randall. Now, we all know Randall don't like that vibe. Randall does not want to be attacked. He does not want to be told what to do. He is a sensitive dude. We see later on he cried over Trinika's story. That's why he was all up under Trinika's bosoms, because Trinika was leading with the soft side. Randall did not like no aggressiveness in the women. He don't like it at all. So when Jamala led with all that anger, boom, and all that venom and telling him what he's not going to do and you're not going to do this, it was the wrong approach. What she really should have done was she should have gotten in touch with what her real emotion was, which was hurt. That was what her real emotion was, and that's what she should have expressed. She should have expressed her hurt, her disappointment, her pain. And you know what? She might have cried. And that probably would have got a better response for Randall. But when she bucked up with that anger, you know what he did? He bucked right back up with her. And next thing you know, you got 2 people bucking up against each other. And let me tell you, it doesn't work out well for Jamala. It didn't work out well for her, actually. So her message and what she was talking about was all really real, but her approach was wrong. And I see this so much with women. You lead with the anger. We lead with the anger. I'm guilty of it too sometimes. And what we have to do is we have to lead with the more softer side, and that is the hurt. Because when you come to someone hurt, or you come to someone and say, you disappointed me or you hurt me, and maybe you cry, that person then feels like they might want to console you or apologize to you. But when you lead with all this bravado and anger, Randall ain't coming over giving her no hug. That's why he didn't go chasing after her. He didn't come over and give her no hug or nothing. He said, you know what, you want to be strong and independent and walk up to me like a man, then you know what, you can be on your own like a man. And Randall sat over there and laid on that bed and didn't even get up. I tell y'all, leave Randall alone. He lazy. So then we switch to, we see wife Kaden cooking in the kitchen again. She cooking up a storm. Swayze over there, helping her cook and everything. I think Kaden maybe cooked a lot of the meal. Her and Jamala, I guess they friends. They sitting over there cooking up a storm for everybody. In these kind of group settings, you see who want to sit around and receive, and the givers. And you can see right now, the Randalls of the world, they sit up there eating, but they didn't do no work, not at all. And Swayze is like, this is gonna be my last meal. He act like he about to be executed. He said, I might as well enjoy it. They talking about what you gonna cook tomorrow. He said, I ain't gonna cook anything because I'm not even gonna be here. You know I'm up for elimination. He said, I only have one connection, and that's Kaden. And he said, you know what, I'm okay with it. I'm okay if I go home because I'm not gonna fake it. I'm not gonna do nothing else to try to pretend like I like another woman. And if I go home, so be it. I can go back to Firehouse. I'm all ready to go. And then they sit down at this dinner table, and before they have dinner, they all said they're gonna say a prayer. And y'all, did you see the look that Kayla, side chick Kayla, gave Mike when they were sitting at the dinner table saying prayer? And Kayla was holding the hand of Mike. I'm gonna put it up here. Let me tell you, she looked like she was about to cry. Look at that look. I'm telling you, that's why I believe something more has gone on with Kayla and Mike, because Kayla has a look as if this man has broken her heart. She looks like she's about to cry. She looks like, I can't believe I gave myself to this man, and here he is on this retreat, treating me like the side chick, or now I realize I was tricked. That's the look. That's the look I'm getting from here. She looks like she's about to cry. And even in this moment, Mike looks up and gives a little glimpse to Kayla. And let me tell you, it was telling. I don't know if Brandy saw that little moment between the two of them, but I would be very worried about that moment. Brandy needs to make sure all what Mike was doing behind the scenes with Kayla. She needs to get the full story, because I'm not so convinced that Mike and Kayla's little interaction has been limited to just words. I'm really not convinced, y'all. But at the dinner table, this was really some good moments, some real intimate moments. They all opening up, and Trinika starts telling the story that for 3 months she cried for every day. That's depression. If you cried every day for 3 months straight because of loneliness or hurt, and her just wanting to find a special person, that tells me that she went through a period of depression. Maybe that's why she comes in as a Trinika person. I think, you know what, I'm gonna really go back and say, I think the real Trinika is the woman I saw in the very beginning. I think Trinika might be the woman that we saw with Randall on the couch, but I'm not for sure why Trinika has decided to switch up and become Tricknika. She needs to leave Tricknika alone, and she needs to go back to being a Trinika. Leave Tricknika and become a Trinika, because I really like this more vulnerable, sensitive side to Trinika. And let me tell you, a lot of people liked it, and she got some tears out of Randall, because Randall was resonating with her story, because what Randall said to himself is that's kind of the way he feels. He has felt alone when he talked about how, you know, money's not everything, and he had a lot of goals to accomplish, and he realizes at the end of the day, no one was there to help him celebrate his milestones. That is so true. That's exactly the truth. And he said he wants more. And I think Trinika's story of loneliness and depression really resonated with Randall, because I think Randall has been lonely and depressed before as well. And let me tell you, when Jamala saw that Randall cried over Trinika's story, she was unhappy, because she was the one that said, look at Randall, he crying over there. Woo, Jamala was mad. Jamala was saying, wait a minute. This is when Jamala realized she was in a threesome, when she said, wait a minute. First of all, I get put on the back burner for Kayla, the side chick, and now all of a sudden you over here crying over another woman's story. Oh, good Lord, I'm farther down on the totem pole than I even realized. Jamala's eyes were open real wide on this trip. I mean, wide open, y'all. Randy told her story, talking about she's never been in love before. You know, I think that's sad too. I mean, I'm the type of person that goes by the mantra, I'd rather have loved than lost than never loved at all. I mean, yeah, it hurts losing love, but being in love feels so good that I'm more willing to experience love and have love than to be so scared of love that I sort of block it off. And then you start to hear Swayze ditto and basically said he's scared of love. And you start hearing Samson talk about that he's scared of love. And this is when my light bulb went off. I said, here you have two men. You have both Swayze and you have Samson, both talking about how they're both are afraid of love. And these two men are with two of the meanest women on the show. You got Swayze with Kadeem and you got Samson with Charisse. So you got to ask yourself, two of the men who are the most afraid of love hook up and become attracted to two of the meanest women on the show. What's that all about? I'm gonna tell you what it's all about. And what it's about is that Swayze, when he told Kadeem that she was his type, she absolutely is his type. She is his type. She's the type of woman that he's always dated. And this little last 3 months when he started dating the little Latino women, that was the diversion. But the Kadeems of the world are the women he's always dated, right? And this is what I'm figuring out. He has gone back to the familiar in Kadeem. That's why he says, I get along with Kadeem, but it's something about the type of women of the Kadeems that doesn't make him go ahead and marry those women. That's why he switched it up when he said, I'm going to try to date different types of women. He's dating probably the same type of woman he's also dated Kadeem, because I do not see Kadeem and Swayze together, because like I said, both Swayze and Samson have a softer heart. You could tell, you could see it. And harsh women like the Kadeems of the Charisses, they eat hearts. And eventually, they're not just going to eat the hearts of other people out here in the streets. They're going to eventually turn that they're eventually going to turn that heart-eating personality onto these men, and then they're going to eat the hearts of a Swayze, and they're going to eat the hearts of Samson. So it's really ironic that the very thing that they want, they're dating the complete opposite of it because it's familiar. Swayze talking about, I like Charisse because of her strength. I like Charisse because of the common background. They're going to clash. Charisse can't hold this together. He also is dating someone that he's never going to fall in love with. This is why they can't find love. They really need to start dating a person where they don't feel comfortable. Okay, this is how you know you switching up people in the dating world. When you date someone and you don't feel comfortable, that's when you know you switching up. When you date someone and you feel real comfortable, that means you're dating the familiar. You're dating what you always date. And that means you're probably going to end up in the same spot. When you are feeling uncomfortable, that is actually when you need to continue on the road, because that's when you're going down a road that's going to lead you to something different. But if you're on a road and you're dating something and it's uncomfortable, and so what you do is, I'm going to turn around because this is too uncomfortable. It's not what I want. No, that's probably more of what you need. Keep going down the road. The next person you date, if you feel uncomfortable dating them, keep dating them, because what your body is telling you is, this is unfamiliar, this is uncomfortable, go back to the old thing. And what Swayze's doing with Kadeem, he's back to the old days. The fun girl, she fun. Like I said, Kadeem is fun, she's outgoing, but long term what Swayze needs, he needs a more gentler, kinder woman. And I don't think Kadeem is that woman, and Samson as well. Samson has a fragile heart, and he needs a more kinder, gentler woman, and Charisse is not that woman. Absolutely not. But Uncle Mike came in talking about where you guys are. I've been there a long time ago. I fell in love with my childhood sweetheart. We got married, and even though it didn't work out, we experienced love. I have experienced real love. He sure did. Like I said, Mike has experienced a lot of things. He's been married. Sounds like he's been married for probably 10 years or a pretty long time. He's got 3 kids. He said, so right now he's not trying to have no first. He's not a virgin out here. He's trying to reconnect. He said he's the plug. Well, actually, I'm gonna correct him on this. He really shouldn't call himself the plug. He should call himself the outlet, because when you're an outlet, that means you are inviting other people to tap into you. He is the outlet. He should be inviting Brandy to bring her plug and to plug into him, so he gives her life. The energy, the electricity comes from the plug. The electricity doesn't comes from the outlet. It doesn't come from the plug. It comes from the thing in the wall. That's what's giving the life. And then if you are the plug, you go and you tap into that energy that's in the wall. I understand what Mike is saying, and I like his the analysis he was trying to use, but he used the wrong metaphor. He really should be the circuit. He should be the outlet, and he should be telling Brandy, listen, all that love you say you looking for, plug into me, because I have that love and I'm willing to give it to you. That's what he should. So he's over here toasting to the plug. It sounds good. I guess the plug sounds better, but he really should be the outlet. He should be the circuit, energizing Brandy. The circuit, the plug, that's what energizes people. That's what Brandy should be looking for. And I think that's what he was trying to offer as Uncle Mike. And he was trying to tell all these people, listen, y'all need to get with the program, because you sitting over here waiting and waiting for love, and y'all are scared. You're going to miss out on some things in life if you don't take a chance and go down a road you're uncomfortable with, because that's a sad situation, to die and never to have loved. Really, it really is a sad state. And even when Randall was talking to Mike and talking about, you know, he started to see some things about Randall he hadn't seen before, and I guess she isn't as tough as she looked, and Uncle Mike was like, boy, you just now seeing that? I saw this on the first day. Thank you, Uncle Mike. Thank you, Uncle Mike, for, schooling Randall. Like I said, Randall's immature in love. I would not be with a Randall. He needs to learn some more things out here on the street. And I think one of the reasons why Randall isn't learning is because he's lazy. He doesn't put any effort for it. So when you don't recognize something about a woman, that means you're not putting any effort into looking for it, to trying to understand her. You just laissez-faire, laid back, or going through life. That's why you don't know nothing. That's why he started talking about, that. What's the girl? Trinika is a connection, but I never spent no time with her. Then how is she a connection? Because he's lazy. He's lazy in getting to know people. He's lazy in cooking. He's lazy in dressing and putting on his clothes. He's lazy, period. He's lazy into thinking about the relationship. He's lazy into thinking about how something might make another woman feel. He's lazy. And that's what Mike is pointing out to him, that why wouldn't you recognize this earlier? I saw it in Jamala early on, because you know why, Mike, he didn't see it? Because he's lazy. He's lazy in thinking. Like I tell you, Uncle Mike is like an 8th grader talking to 1st and 2nd graders. He's like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm in 2nd grade again. Why don't these men know this? He said, listen, you can squash a lot of that fear in women if you just give her a solid foundation for her to stand on and give her security. And he's absolutely correct. You won't get all this craziness coming from women if you let the woman know she's on solid footing. And Randall's, talking about, well, I told her all that. No, you told her that behind closed doors. But then when you come out in public, it's a different story. Like I said, you trying to treat Jamala like Mike treats Kayla. Behind closed doors, you're saying one thing, but then when you're out in public, she on her own. She can see the difference. She can see the difference between when you guys are one-on-one and what you're doing now. And you talking about she should feel all confident and all kind of way. Boy, get out of here. Take some ownership, Randall. He don't want to take no ownership over the way that Jamala feels. She may have some insecurities, but he's absolutely responsible for some of those insecurities that she's feeling. Randall needs to be coddled. He talking about, maybe he'll take some advice from Mike, because before he was giving Mike some advice. What advice was he giving Mike? That Randall, do you know what the advice Randall gave Mike when he told Mike, you know what, you'll have a good time with Kayla? Remember that? That's the advice he gave Mike. When Mike said he was also interested in Kayla, and Randall said, oh, yeah, you should date her because, you know what, you'll have a good time with her. And you know what Mike did? He went right on over there and figured out what the good time was. Like I told you, back then, when Randall served up Kayla on the plate, I knew he wasn't worth chasing. He ain't even worth, these women, you pointed your attention to the wrong guy. I'm telling you, Randall is not worthy or ready. But Mike's like, you can't teach me nothing, young fella. I'm the uncle. There ain't nothing Randall can teach a Mike in this moment. Nothing. If Kayla didn't know she was the real side chick when Mike and slept in the room with Brandy, she knew it then. She knew it then, because you know what the husband did? He went right on home and slept in the bedroom with his wife, and the side chick was at home in her bed all alone, cuddled up with a pillow. Girl. Sad to watch, sad to watch. And then when the next day, when Tommy showed up talking about who snores, and Brandy was like, oh yeah, my husband snores, he snores aloud. And Kayla knew right then and there, I'm out. It's official. I'm officially the side chick. And Mike was like, oh, you pretty in the morning, Brandy. You look good. I guess it shows me that if we do really get together, how you look in the morning. And she was pretty without any makeup, without any, you know, lashes and all the other extra stuff. Brandy is a pretty girl, and he saw that. So you know what? I really hope that these two can make it, because, you know, I do like Mike and I do like Brandy. The only part about Brandy and Mike, I told you, I don't want to beat a dead horse, was the babies thing. I just really hope he's not playing Brandy like he was playing a Kayla. I really hope that he can deliver on these babies to Brandy, because Brandy absolutely deserves love and she deserves a family. And he better not snatch that away from her and use up her good fertile years and string her along. But in the end, the people on the chopping block were Swayze and Samson. And the truth of the matter is, LJ should have gone home. So I hope at the end we saw that Tommy steps in and says, I'm gonna make the decision. I hope the decision he makes is either to not eliminate at all or to send LJ home, because that doesn't make sense that just because Swayze and but that doesn't make sense that just because Swayze and Samson showed up, they should be eliminated, and LJ gets to go hide in the apartment of that ex-girlfriend all booed up, and he doesn't get eliminated. Now that's wrong and that's foul. They did it last time with Justice. He didn't get eliminated. He should have got eliminated then. So I sure hope they don't eliminate Swayze or Samson right now. They either don't eliminate at all or they eliminate LJ next episode. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I know this was long. This was a different format. It was long. And if any of you stuck to the end, kudos to you. Thank you so much. And if you had to break it up, that's okay. But you know what? I might do some long videos like this here and there. You know, normally I'm the 15, 20, 25-minute girl. But you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with an hour session here and there. Anyway, that's it, y'all. Tell me what you think. Drop down in the comments. Please like, subscribe, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.